What is up, everybody? So, I, being the bored person I am right now, even though clearly I need to make my bed, uh, being the bored person I am right now, I decided to do yet another rookie mock draft. The Oscars I'm watching right now are pretty boring as well. So, yeah, I constructed a little something for you guys in video form as it was highly requested by one person. But hey, I like doing them, and this is fun for me to make. So yeah, we'll get straight into this mock draft. I only did one round, um, or like 1.5 rounds, sort of. I didn't want to get too deep in; it'd be a very long video. Um, and then also, I wanted to make. I didn't want to just do the first round because I wanted to make sure I hit at least one pick for everybody. So Johnny picks 11th, for example, and Rocket picks ninth. So I wanted to make sure to include both of them. You know, no reason to exclude people for no reason. So, mock draft 3.0, here we go. First, I wanted to take a look at, show you, I use a Dynasty Nerds as like our league analyzer and trade calculations and roster roster breakdowns, and figure I show you a little bit of what they have as our needs right now. So in terms of running backs, like this looks sort of like a Bernie Sanders, like the top 10th of 1% have 70% of the wealth in America. Um, yeah. So Jason is very much the top 1% in this case. Uh, where the rest of us are just trying to pick up scraps. Wide receiver, it's a kind of tale of two sides of the league, two halves. We have our mostly perennial playoff teams, and myself, Andrew, Weber, and Tim as our high wide receiver things. Maybe that says something about like prestige in teams. I don't know, but yeah, and then the other four and tight end need. I single handedly most of that is George Kittle, and then Mark Andrews adds just that more onto it. And then there's four teams that desperately need tight end help. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue for them. Five teams really, and yeah, a lot of them want Kyle Pitts, but who will get him? You'll find out soon. And QB, this is just a nice, just well evened chart to look at. Not well even, but like there's a clear delineation, like bars going down. So yeah, Rocco needs the biggest help there, and Tim and I have the a pretty solid lead in that department. So, without further ado, Weber 316, to nobody's surprise, picks Najee Harris, further adding to uh, his pool of running backs, of which he might only be able to play half of them in the season. It's absolutely insane, but he is the best player on the board. He will be a first, but if not, a second round pick in the real draft. He is an athletic freak. He was the number one recruit coming out of high school. Um, sorry, I forgot to have my other spreadsheet pulled up. There we go. My bad. Back to Najee. Um, yeah, he is absolutely an elite player. No matter how good you are at running back, like you can't pass on him. 43 catches for yards. 43 catches for 425 yards, 251 carries for 1,400 some yards, and 30 touchdowns total. That he was an absolutely elite player this year, and was simply just buried behind Alabama's like loaded depth chart the past few years. And you take into account like Josh Jacobs, Damian Harris, some of those guys. He just never really got the chance to shine too much. But yeah, so he's an absolute freak of nature. So for a lot of those reasons, we got Najee going one. Not that Weber needs another running back. It's just he's that good. You just can't pass him up. So, and then we go to my second pick, or our second pick in the draft, and I'm going to select Travis Etienne. Will this happen? We'll see. It may or may not. I mean, a lot of these spots are going to change based on where they end up. I'll tell you that right now. So I'm definitely making no promises in my selections, especially. Uh, but in examining Travis Etienne, both him and Najee could have came out last year and would have been first round picks in our rookie draft as well. Uh, they're just absolutely electric players. Najee's more of a power, do it all guy, where Travis is the shifty Alvin Kamara esque. I don't want to throw that term around, but he sort of plays a little like him. 48 catches for 588 yards and 168 carries for 914 yards. And had 16 touchdowns through 12 games this year. I need running back help in a bad way. I mean, you look at my depth chart right now, it's Josh Jacobs, it's Austin Eckler, Chris Carson, Ronald Jones. I need Etienne in a pretty bad way. So, yeah, he will likely be joining the club depending on landing spots. And if Weber decides to go Najee or not, we'll see. So, third pick, it's me again. I'm going to be selecting Javonte Williams. Again, no guarantees. There's another player I'm really toying with here, and it hurt me. I'll discuss that player later. But Javonte Williams, a lot of comps being thrown around about him. Uh, Ones I see a lot are somewhere between a David Montgomery and a Nick Chubb. And I looked at the stats the other day, and yeah, that's fairly accurate. Um, he's deceptively fast, but a big guy too. Uh, through 11 games, he had 25 catches for 305 yards and 1,140 rushing yards on 157 attempts and 22 touchdowns. So, I mean, this is a guy who can really just do it all. And that's with him sharing a backfield with Michael Carter, who will maybe go in the second round of our rookie draft. So this one school produced like two top tier running backs, and he was able to show out with stats like that during that. I mean, that just shows what kind of player that Javante is. Tremendous contact balance, and that is by far like the one stat. Like, if you that shows how independent you are as a running back. Like, different from your O line. Like, you're not relying on them as much. But yeah, you can do it all. You can see him, run out the backfield there, going out for long touchdowns or just plowing straight ahead. Very much a do-it-all player. And fourth, we got Natty Daddy selecting Kyle Pitts. Uh, we saw all the tight end needy teams, and Jason and I simply don't need Kyle Pitts, but I mean, he could, like, in if most teams in this league had the number one pick, I could see Kyle Pitts go number one overall. So I'm saying he is a special player. Like, he, you don't see people come out like him. Um, and all my statistics I keep, he like blew everyone this year out of the water. 43 receptions for 770 yards, 12 touchdowns in only 8 games, and 96 yards of offense per game. For a tight end, like, yeah, you'll take that all the time. And himself alone was 25% of Florida's offense, like offensive yards. He's a touchdown machine. He go up and get the ball like you see here. Um, absolutely athletic freak. You run a 4.44 40. It's a lot of fours there. Says something. Uh, and you could dance too. That's always a plus. But if you want to be in that tight end class of Kittle, Walker, uh, or what am I saying? No, yeah, the Walrus. I don't know why I said Walker. Uh, Darren Waller. Uh, yeah, if you want to be in that Kelsey, Kittle, Waller class of tight ends, Kyle Pitts is kind of your ticket into that class. Very much a do it all guy. Uh, he's a better, faster, more efficient guy version of Evan Ingram who can actually catch the ball. Sure, Timmy currently has Evan Ingram, but like this is just this tops everything. So yeah, he's basically a wide receiver playing tight end, but he can still sort of block too, and he'll be asked of highly in the league once he gets into whoever drafts him. He could be a top 5 pick. Talent speaks for itself. So with the 5th pick, we got Butter Ape selecting Jamar Chase. This was the other player who I was considering at the 3 spot. I've followed him since the beginning of LSU 2019. He is just an absolutely electric player. He's the best receiver in this draft class, in my opinion, by quite a bit. Um, just his route running, he's very physical. Um, absolutely destroyed it. Was a big reason Joe Burrow was able to do a lot of what he did in 2019. 2020, he did opt out, which, take that as you will, but the talent's still there. Uh, he had 85 catches for almost 1,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, uh, and he ran a 4.38, which that's pretty good. Um, he can do everything, even though he's only stands about 6 foot, 201 pounds, which 200 is actually a larger weight when compared to most wide receivers in this draft class. Uh, but yeah, if you want an elite separator, someone who can, go up and high point, do everything, run great after the catch. Jamar Chase is your guy. Andrew's getting a great player here. So number 6, then we have Steel Valley Mish selecting Jalen Waddle. Uh, I'm not super high on Jalen Waddle, honestly, but like he, the stats he was able to put up are absolutely insane. He stands 5'10", only about 180 pounds. Um, and this year, in only 5 games, he had 31 catches for 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. But he did average 120 yards a game, which is, in the upper percentile, like top 10 percentile of the class. But and the stats are good on an average basis. But what you get with him is, absolutely electric speed. Now, he did not run a 40 because he's been dealing with some injuries. If you watch the national championship game, uh, he just wanted to play out of, just pure passion. But he was like literally hobbled the whole time. So yeah, you look at this speed on tape, and I don't think he's as fast as Henry Ruggs, but like he's close enough to Henry Ruggs, yet still has like power and a physical element to his game that Henry Ruggs really just doesn't. Um, and he get Tyreek Hill comparisons all the time with any fast receiver, but I've been hearing more about uh, Jalen Waddle than really anybody in the past. And I can see it to an extent. I mean, we'll see where he ends up. I don't think he'll be Tyreek Hill, but uh, in the right system, I think it could. I wouldn't rule it out. So yeah, we got Jalen Waddle going here at pick 6. Uh, then with the 7th pick, we got a double dip in the Alabama receivers for Bobby. We got Devontae Smith, reigning Heisman Trophy winner. Uh, well, he is no athletic freak by any means or physical, you know, nature. He stands 6'1", 170 pounds, by far the lowest BMI in the entire class. Not that BMI matters, it's just it's something to know. And typically, receivers of this way don't do too well, but like you watch these highlights, you see these, you hear these stats. It has to translate somehow. And he's never had injury issues at all, at least in college. I don't know about high school, but 121 catches this year, over 1,800 yards. This is through 13 games, by the way. 24 touchdowns, 143 yards a game. That is second in the entire draft class this year. Uh, he, he's a guy who really just runs great routes. Like he could do everything moderately well, but like he's a route runner first and foremost. He's not the most physical guy, and like I said, he's only 170 pounds. But if you almost want a guy who could generally do everything kind of okay, and then also run great routes, I hear Marvin Harrison comparisons quite a bit for him. Even a little Stephon Diggs. Um, yeah, he's your guy, and no matter where he ends up, he's going to go into a situation where he's a top, first half of the first round pick. He's going to be heavily utilized, just as a guy who will, be schemed to get open. Uh, yeah, I don't think he could. As long as the injury concerns aren't huge to you, yeah, I think he's a home run pick. Personally, my like 5th player on the board, I think. And 8th pick, we got Cold Stone Cream Austin selecting Kenneth Gainwell. There's a lot of stuff on his first name, sort of like the Mitch Mitchell thing. But this guy, he was kind of like the running mate to Antonio Gibson in 2019 at Memphis. That year, he, through 14 games, had 51 catches for 610 yards, 231 carries for 1,460 yards, and 16 touchdowns. And like where Antonio Gibson was a wide receiver that came to the NFL and played running back, um, Kenny Gainwell will likely just end up staying at running back and maybe you utilize that receiver later. But he's still like an absolutely dynamic piece that a team will really like. Um, he stands about 5'11", 201 pounds. And in that year for Memphis, he accounted for 33% of their offense. And he ran a 4.42 40, which the top 40 for running back this year is 4.38. So he's definitely in that upper tier. He combines such strength and power. Um, he'll be depending on where he goes. I think landing spot's going to be very dependent on him. And the reason I didn't really have there's this big gap between running backs from 3 to now 8 is that like there is that like definite tier separation between those top 3 of Najee, Etienne, and Javonte Williams, and then you start getting the guys like Kenny Gainwell, who I personally think is in a tier himself of kind of like the A tier, where the other guys are an S tier, and then I'll mention a few B tier guys later. Um, yeah, he can do everything, but I think will be very landing spot dependent on how they decide to use him. even if he ends up in a situation where he's sharing a backfield, I think he'd still have really nice opportunities for production. So now entering the second round, we have Rocco, and he's gonna be selecting Trevor Lawrence. And yeah, I know quarterbacks don't go this high in our rookie draft, but Rocco has a definite need at quarterback. He is like dead last in that ranking. And I'm not saying he should do that. This is what he should do, but like it is a pretty legitimate option for him. Like if you want to improve your quarterback room day one, Trevor Lawrence is your most reliable option by far in this class. He is going to play day one. They're going to just give him the job. Sorry, Gardner Minshew, I love you, but uh, Trevor, yeah, he's everything you want. He's mobile. He delivers on a dime. Like he ain't even trying, but he ain't even wearing number 9. Sorry, that's a Trace McSorley song reference. Um, but yeah, he's gonna be asked to be the dude from day one. I mean, so will Zach Wilson likely. So you're getting immediate production and an absolute star talent in Trevor. Um, and the Texas Rattlesnakes could use a little bit of that right now. The hurt is there. They should have had the number 1 pick. We're finessed in the trade route yet again. It happens to all of us, though. So yeah, I get so for those reasons I have a Trevor going number 9 to Texas Rattlesnakes. So then we have me at pick 10, and I'm going with Rondale Moore here. I love my receivers and scouting them. That's by far like my favorite position to scout. And my draft record speaks for itself. I like Rondale Moore a lot, and I feel by saying that someone's gonna snipe me for him. And I'm not even saying I'll pick him at pick 10 because like I see some mocks with him going to like the Browns, and like I'm not too crazy about that landing spot, at least in the short term. I'm looking for someone with both short term and long term viability. But we look at Moore here. He ran a 4.29, the second fastest 40 in this entire draft class. And he only played 3 games this year. There's some weird opt-out stuff with him. Nothing to be too concerned about. It's just, it's 2020 for you. But through those 3 games, 41 catches, 302 yards, only 1 touchdown. Yeah, those numbers, not very good. But when you look at the averages, he is second in touches per game with a 13.67. So, imagine a, speed receiver like this being, that's capable of being force-fed the ball. That's fantasy magic right there. He accounted for 32% of the Purdue offense. And I see him compared a lot to like a Curtis Samuel, Percy Harvin, Golden Tate type. Again, not saying I'll for sure take him or anything, but he's an option I'm very much intrigued by. And he can very much. He's more of a guy that wins with speed and some route running. Not very much a go up and catch guy, as he is only 5'7", 180 pounds. But I mean, he's built well. It's not like he's a wimpy guy like Devontae, but he's not as a pristine route runner as Devontae Smith is either. So yeah, that's with Rondale. And then with pick 11, I have Johnny picking Kadarius Toney. I see him mocked in the first round quite a bit, and just in the regular NFL draft. And with that comes, you're going to get a lot of usage out of him. And if the ball wasn't going to Kyle Pitts of Florida, he usually found its way into Kadarius Toney's hands. This year he had 89 catches through 11 games, 1,145 yards, and 11 touchdowns. So yeah, he's very well balanced. He had about 100 some yards a game. Yeah, not about 100 yards a game. Ran a 4.41 40. So yeah, he's another guy who went with speed primarily and just agility. I've seen him compared to Deontay Johnson before. Uh, I don't think he's as good of a route runner as Deontay is, but like he's a guy who can get the ball in his hands a lot. And if he does go in the first round, I just see a team like say he goes to Chicago. I could see them like really like trying to force it into Tony's hands, and yeah, he's a fine player. I like him quite a bit though. And then just as like a little bonus slide, um, here are some other round two names I didn't quite get to that were snubbed from this top 11. Rashad Bateman, I like a lot. 4.39, 36 touches, 472 yards in only 5 games this year. It was another weird COVID situation with him. Elijah Moore, I like quite a bit too. Absolutely insane physical traits. Gets open quite a, yeah, gets open. A lot of production too. Michael Carter, he was a Javonte Williams running mate at North Carolina. Uh, he's more of a receiving back, if I'm right. Yeah, he only got about 14% of the carries, but was highly efficient on those. Pat Fryermuth, just compared to Rob Gronkowski a lot, which Gronk isn't the modern day NFL tight end. And if Kyle Pitts weren't in this draft, Fryermuth would be much more talked about. But yeah, Kyle Pitts, yeah. Terrence Marshall was the slot receiver in that 2019 Elite LSU offense. Uh, he can do a little everything. 48 catches for 730 yards and 10 touchdowns in only 7 games. So he was the focal point of their offense this year, and he did have some health issues recently, so that's why I didn't quite include him in this mock. But yeah, he could very well be a first round pick, maybe second round. And then I have a couple quarterbacks. I don't really know where quarterback will start to pick up again after Trevor and Justin Fields, Zach Wilson. Those are two guys that I think have, other than Lawrence, who have an opportunity to get on the field potentially early and have those physical traits and intangibles that'll help them succeed real early on, and of course down the road. And De'Ami Brown too. Uh, he's a fine player. Wins kind of more of a deep threat, not like an absolute burner type. Uh, and he did run 4.46, which isn't the fastest, but by far not slow by any means. Averaged about 5 catches a game, had 8 touchdowns in 11 games this year. Yeah, some team will probably take him in the second round, and it'd be a wide receiver too for some NFL team. So I hope you enjoyed that round and a half of mock. Thank you for sticking with me, and we'll see what happens in the draft this Thursday, in the real NFL draft, and through the rest of the weekend, because the sport will change dramatically based on the landing spot. But I wanted the chance to really share with you my deep dive into some of these prospects. Um, so until then, take care, and more draft content to come.